Senate is about Nigeria and Nigerians. So pray that God will give them the enablement to continue to put in their best for the upliftment of the citizenry.
Senate confirms ministerial nominees, urges them not to disappoint Nigerians.
To ad hoc committee to investigate alleged economic sabotage in the Nigerian petroleum industry.
And senators revisit the controversial issue of alleged importation of hazardous petroleum products, set up probe committee. Welcome to the program Inside the Senate, a program which brings you news and updates on the activities of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, sitting in the Red Chamber of the National Assembly. The Senate proceeded on a 2-week recess and is built to resume on Tuesday, the 19th of November 2024. During this period, we shall come your way with reviews of some of the activities of the Senate at plenary, committees, meetings, as well as oversight visits. In this edition of the program, we have reports from plenary, highlighting bills at third reading, reports, motions, and their resolutions. Do stay tuned for the full package after the break. I am Hadiza Bayro Aliu, your guide.
Promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria.
The Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023.
And this act should be supported by all.
There are issues that we must use this opportunity to critically address.
We accord this motion the urgency and the necessity it requires.
I rise the second motion.
The ayes have it.
The Senate on Wednesday, 30th October 2024, confirmed the appointments of 7 ministerial nominees forwarded to it by President Bola Tinubu last week. The confirmation of appointments of the ministers followed the screening by the Senate.
Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Nat'l for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The ministerial nominees who are now ministers designate are Dr. Nat'l for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Muhammadu Megari Dingadi for Labor and Employment, and Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu as Minister of State Foreign Affairs. Others are Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, Minister of Industry, Trade and Development, Idi Mukhtar Maiha, Minister of Livestock Development, Right Honorable Yusuf Abdullahi Atta, Minister of State Housing and Urban Development, and Dr. Siwa Said Ahmed, Minister of State Education. During the exercise, the ministers designate were tasked by senators to effect positive transformation in their respective ministries in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu's administration.
2009 agreement has been a lingering issue over these years. And none of the past ministers have been able to tackle it. So I would want you, as you assume duty, that should be your priority.
As you are aware, so many goods are still being imported into Nigeria, and the government is trying the best it can to ensure that these items are produced in Nigeria. First, to ensure that we make maximum use of our raw materials, to also ensure that the drain on our foreign exchange reserve is curtailed, and to ensure that employment opportunities are generated. But the import substitution strategy in Nigeria is not working. The companies here are not properly protected, and I want you to take note of that.
In his remarks after the exercise, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, urged all of them to uplift the country with their appointments.
For this elevation by Almighty God, courtesy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and also pray that God will give them the enablement to continue to put in their best for the upliftment of the citizenry and the benefit of this great country.
Let's now take a break for the Senate Notebook. More reports from plenary when we return. Don't go away.
Concurrence in the legislature refers to the agreement of both legislative chambers, for example, the House and the Senate, on a particular bill or resolution. For a bill to become law, both chambers must pass the identical version of the bill. Concurrence ensures coordination and unified decision-making in the legislative process.
You're watching Inside the Senate, a program that brings you highlights of activities of the Nigerian Senate. During plenary of last week, the Senate considered bills, motions, and reports of various committees on sundry assignments referred to them by the Senate. Details of these amongst other issues coming up in our next report. Do stay tuned.
These young men left their homes in search of greener pastures.
Citing Order 42 of the Senate Standing Rules regarding personal explanation, Senator Diket Blanc called the attention of the Senate to the gruesome murder of 7 members of his constituents in Awka, Anambra State.
These young men were massacred and killed innocently without any explanation. And then the corpses of these young men, 7 in number, have been taken back to Plateau. I am bringing this explanation because this is what could create a lot of unpeace and unrest in my constituency.
The issue was noted as matters of personal explanation are usually not open for debate. On reports, the Senate received and considered the report of the Committee on Local and Foreign Debts on the promissory note program for the refund to Kebbi and Nasarawa state government on the newly constructed airport project executed on behalf of the federal government. It was presented by Senator Haruna Manu.
The Senate, as it is sitting on Wednesday, 15 May 2024, a communication from Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, requesting for the approval of the Senate on the establishment of promissory note for reimbursement of Kebbi State Government and Nasarawa.
Some senators shared their thoughts on this matter.
We need to commend the federal government for agreeing to issue these promissory notes to clear the debts. The federal government has also been doing the same in respect of some rules constructed by various state governments. That encourages the state governments to go into some of these laudable projects.
If we want to talk about investments in this country, for foreign investors to come in, our airports must be very functional. And these people have gone ahead, these two governments have gone ahead to do something to assist the federal government. It's just proper that their resources be refunded. They can do many more things to render service to their states.
The Senate accordingly resolved to approve the promissory note program to settle outstanding claims and liabilities of Kebbi State Government in the sum of 15.137 billion naira. Approve the sum of 9.542 billion naira be reimbursed to Nasarawa State Government for the construction of Lafia Cargo Airport. That the federal government prioritizes the settlement of incurred debts through the issuance of promissory notes for the settlement of outstanding reimbursement debts to states, judgment debts, and other debt liabilities incurred by the federal ministries, departments, and agencies to avoid further costs and liabilities to the federal government. Another report was from the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions on the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024. The bill, which seeks to enhance the corporation's effectiveness, independence, and autonomy, was first read on 29 February 2024. The report was presented by Senator Abiru Mukail Adetokunbo.
The Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at its sitting on Thursday, 29th February 2024, read for the second time the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Act 2023 Amendment Act 2024 SB 277 and referred same to the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions for further legislative action.
Some senators raised concerns on modalities of passage of bills into acts.
You know that this is the most critical stage of lawmaking. So my request is that you should allow for contributions from members, because it's at this stage that the input and experience of members comes to play.
Lawmaking is not like a motion. This will be the subject of managing the most sensitive sector of our economy. But in general terms, any law worth making is worth being properly made. To the extent that each one of us will be on record as part of the Senate 10th Assembly that pass any law. I do not believe, sir, that even those who are extremely gifted in law, with this volume of document can be submitted to us a minute before and ask us to debate it, and we start debating and passing.
Thereafter, the Senate dissolved into the Committee of the Whole, where they considered the content of the bills clause by clause. The bill was then read for the third time and passed.
Schedules, Nat'l, explanation memorandum as recommended. This is true reflection of what's transpired in the Committee of the Whole.
This is the report of the Senate Committee on Agriculture.
The Senate also received and considered another report from the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions on the Federal University of Agriculture and Tropical Studies, Iragbiji, Osun State Establishment Bill 2024. It was presented by Senator Simon Bako Lalong.
On the Wednesday, 2nd October, this bill was committed to the committee. The committee went ahead to organize a public hearing. The public hearing had a very large turnout, including Mr. Senate President himself, the Deputy Senate President, the leader of the Senate, almost all the principal officers, and traditional rulers.
To support the establishment.
Senator Tahir Mungono commented on the report.
In view of the fact that it is an institution that seeks to be agri-disciplined, biased in agri, and coupled with the fact that we are preaching the gospel of diversification of our economy away from agriculture to other sources of revenue to create the much needed employment and add the much needed foreign exchange, I support this bill. Thank you.
The Senate also dissolved into the Committee of the Whole and considered the bill clause by clause, after which the bill was read the third time and passed.
Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole?
Yes. Recalls its debate on Wednesday, 3rd.
On motions, Senator Bamidele Michael Okpeyemi moved a motion on the need for the Senate to rescind a motion on the urgent need to investigate the continued importation of hazardous petroleum products and dumping of substandard diesel into Nigeria, debated on 3rd July 2024, moved by Senator Asukwo Ekpeon.
The Senate recalls also its resolution on Thursday, 11 July 2024, to recaption the title of the ad hoc committee to ad hoc committee to investigate alleged economic sabotage in the Nigerian petroleum industry.
He noted that the House of Representatives debated on the same matter and constituted an ad hoc committee to investigate the issue. He proposed that both ad hoc committees of the two chambers work jointly to avoid duplication and clash in the discharge of their assignment. The Senate accordingly resolved to recaption the title to National Assembly Joint Ad hoc Committee to investigate alleged economic sabotage in the Nigerian petroleum industry, communicate the decision to the House of Representatives for a composition of equal number, that the members of the ad hoc committee in the Senate remain as follows: Okpeyemi Michael Bamidele, Chairman; Asuko Ekpeyong, member. Yahaya Abubakar Abdullahi, member. Mohammed Tahir Mungono, member. Abiola Solomon Olamilekon, member. Diket Satso Plang, member. Ipalibo Hari Banigo, member. Mustafa Habib, member. Adams Aliu Oshomole, member. Etang Jonah Williams, member. Mukail Adetokumbo Abiru, member. Osita Bonaventure Izunaso, member. Ya Usahabi, member. Abdul Ahmed Ningi, member. Suleiman A. Kau, member. That the resolution of the Senate be communicated to the House of Representatives, requesting for the inauguration of a joint ad hoc committee by the presiding officers of both chambers.
A petition from a concerned Nigerian.
On petitions, Binos Yaro laid a petition on behalf of one Jimny Ramnath against Multi-Choice Broadcasting Company and Nigeria Broadcasting Corporation over alleged displays of illegal, immoral social content in one of their products on DSTV titled Big Brother Nigeria, which has violated Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation Act. It was referred to the Senate Committee on Public Petitions, Ethics and Privileges to revert in 2 weeks.
Mr. President, I bring a petition from my constituent.
Senator Osita Ungu also laid another petition by his constituent against the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps over 9 months unpaid salaries.
Welcome back. In a recent activity, the Senate Committee on Tech Fund and its House counterpart, in collaboration with Tech Fund, engaged stakeholders at a 2-day retreat in Lagos to discuss efforts towards handling security and energy challenges in Nigeria's tertiary institutions. The retreat started on Monday, 21st October 2024. Chairman of the committee, Senator Muntari Nduze, gave the opening remarks where he said the move is a collective effort to address the issue of security and energy challenges bedeviling tertiary institutions. He added that the institutions play a vital role in Nigeria's national development. Therefore, there is need to give the issues urgent attention.
The landscape of education institutions is fraught with challenges that threaten not only the safety and well-being of our students and faculty, but also the very integrity of our education mission. The rising tide of insecurity and the persistent energy crisis in our tertiary institutions demand our immediate and focused attention.
There was also a goodwill message by the Executive Secretary Tech Fund, Architect Sonny Ocheno. He said the meeting will help give a review of policies and programs that will help reposition and revitalize the tertiary institutions.
This forum should afford the opportunity for a roots and branches review of policies and programs aimed at repositioning and revitalizing our tertiary education system as the linchpin, some will say launchpad, for sustainable socio-economic development of our country.
While giving his remarks, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, who was represented by the House Leader, Honorable Julius Ihonvere, said the meeting is timely with the prevalent cases of abduction of students, cultism, and power deficits affecting the tertiary institutions. He acknowledged that the retreat will give them insight into the state of happenings at the various institutions, as well as help them find ways to serve Nigeria better.
As legislators, periodic retreats of this nature are important to empower and reinforce our drive towards in the legislative process from positions of knowledge and strength to competently meeting the needs and aspirations of our people.
The keynote speaker and president of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, was represented by Senator Barrow Jibrin. He declared the event open, where he stressed that the essence of tertiary institutions can only be achieved when the environment is safe and conducive.
What we're here to do, of course, is to see how we can solve the challenges, two challenges that are facing our tertiary education system in this country. The challenge of insecurity in our campuses and the inadequacy of electricity in our campuses.
There were various presentations from different stakeholders across the sector, with the first an overview of energy challenges and development in Nigerian tertiary institutions by Professor I.M. Bugaji.
These are the challenges we are facing: the challenge of energy, the challenge of security, and the challenge of funding. This retreat is treating 2 out of the 3. If you are in Zamfara, there would be security. Today, the population of the Federal Polytechnic in Zamfara has dropped.
Another presentation was on adoption and enhancing renewable energy supply in Nigeria's tertiary institutions, prospects and challenges by Professor Muhammad Dauda.
These are some of the benefits. All the other slides is simply espousing the various technologies. And these are the financial predictability, meaning they assure power supply is there, they don't have to take a chunk of their money for power. Of course, the return on investment. I have slides about the return on investment, but the problem there is that naturally, because of the capex, the capital cost is higher. So the return on investment takes longer for it to be repaid.
Chairman of the Tech Fund Board, Right Honorable Aminu Masari, while making the closing remarks, said education plays a huge role in Nigeria's development and called for an improvement in funding the sector.
Issue of security and energy. Clearly, before even this summit, we have discussed with members of the National Assembly, and we have discussed this issue at the board level, and certainly a line will be developed for energy and security.
To end the program, let's take the profile of our Senator of the Week.
Senator Issa Jibrin Echocho is the current senator representing Kogi East Senatorial District in the 10th Senate. He was born on the 28th day of February 1960. Senator Jibrin attended Our Lady of Schools, Ajiolo Ojaji from 1967 to 1972 and 1973 to 1977 for his primary and secondary educations respectively. He also got a Bachelor of Science degree in Economics at the Bayero University, Kano in 1983. In 1991, Senator Jibrin got a master's degree in economics from the University of Lagos. He got another master's degree in petroleum and energy at the University of Ibadan in 2002. In 2003, he obtained a master's degree in business administration from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. In 1988, Senator Issa Jibrin Echocho joined Chase Merchant Bank PLC as an analyst. He then moved to AfriBank International Limited Merchant Bankers in 1991 as the head of Project Finance Leasing Department. He was made the head of Capital Market Group in 1993. In 1998, he served as the Managing Director, Chief Executive of AL Securities Limited. In 2011 and 2015, Senator Jibrin contested for the governor of Kogi State under the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), but lost the election. In 2019 general elections, he was elected as the senator representing Kogi East Senatorial District after a supplementary election. In 2023, Senator Issa Jibrin Echocho was re-elected into the same position. He currently serves as the chairman, Senate Committee on Ways and Means. His legislative agenda includes health, women and youth empowerment, education, and community development.
This brings us to the end of this episode of Inside the Senate. We will continue to bring you reports from the Senate wing of the National Assembly as they unfold during this recess, as well as review legislations deliberated before the recess. Join us next week for another edition, and thanks for watching.